Sick of people at ESPN or SportsCenter who think they have their heads on their shoulders, but they really don't? Well, it's time for the Jimmy the K Sports Show. We're going to give you the most urgent sports news. Now it's time for the Jimmy the K Sports Show. Sit back, buckle up, and get ready for the #1 sports show on the web. Here we go, my sports friends. How are you doing this Tuesday evening? I am your host each and every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Central Daylight Time, Jimmy the K. I'm glad that you stopped by and would ask that you let your friends and family members and coworkers let us know about us. Give them the information. Let them check us out as well. I definitely want to get with the show as quickly as possible because I did get a question at the end of the show last week that's probably not only going to take up a good portion of the show, but I'm probably going to end up having to blog about it as well, just because I can't wrap my mind around exactly going team for team who's going to do what. But, Troy, I'm definitely going to do my best to go over most of it tonight. My plan is to do a blog post at a later time as well to kind of get more into it as you look for. Troy Bustle sent a message via our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/allaboutsportszone. You're not a friend or you haven't liked the page there, you can go there. Just go to your search engine on Facebook, search All About Sports Zone. You can like us there. Troy Bustle asked, my prediction for the National League in 2016 and why? That is a really, really good question. Really good question, to be quite honest with you. Like I said, I'm going to have to cover this through most of the show tonight. Not only most of the show, but I'm also going to have to cover that for the through a blog post as well. And that's as promised, so that's definitely going to be done. So my predictions for the National League in 2016 and why. Let's start off with the NL Central. The NL Central right now, the NL Central this year had the Cardinals winning the division, the Pirates 2 games back, followed by the Cubs, followed by the Brewers, followed by the Reds. Do I see that same format shaping up for next year? No, I do not. I really don't think that the Cardinals are going to be on top. I think the Cardinals will probably be second or third. My guess right now is that they're going to be second in the division, followed by the Pirates. But the first in that division is definitely going to be more than likely. My guess is the Cubs. The Cubs have already publicly stated that they're going to go after any and all free agents out there right now. The majority of players, I believe there was 20 qualifying offers assigned at the end of the season, and only the odds are, since the qualifying offers have started over the last 2 years or so, that no player has ever taken a qualifying offer. The odds are more than likely that's not going to change this year. With the likes of people like Zach Greinke and David Price available, I could very well see the Cubs taking over the NL Central, followed by the Cardinals, then the Pirates, then the Reds, and the Brewers. But that could easily be changed by going out, picking up some players, and making a big splash in free agency. The NL West looked like this. The Dodgers were on top, followed by the Giants, the Diamondbacks, the Padres, then the Rockies. Do I see it shaping out that same way next season? No, I don't. I see the Dodgers still remaining on top next year in the NL West, because I feel like the Dodgers are going to win the services of somebody like a Zach Greinke or a David Price. But I also see the Diamondbacks moving up a little bit, a game or two. I see the Giants moving up at least 3 or 4 games with the addition of a few players in free agency. I see the Padres moving up at least 10 games if they remain healthy and can do what they need to do starting next season with the players that they acquired last year and some additions from this year. The Rockies, I still see about the same, although I could very well see somebody like Chris Davis a possibility in Colorado. The NL East shaped up with the Mets on top, followed by the Nationals, then the Marlins, the Braves, and the Phillies. I definitely do not see that division shaping up that way. Why? Because honestly, in my honest opinion, Troy, I feel like the Nationals take the division next year. They take the division with a healthy pitching staff, with a new pitching coach in Mike Maddox, who they recently signed to a 2-year deal, with a new manager, Dusty Baker. I see the odds of them going out and competing and eventually winning the NL East. The Mets I see being about 3 games back. And the reason for that being they're going to lose guys to free agency. The odds of Daniel Murphy coming back are nil, basically. And then you got Yoenis Cespedes, who more than likely is not going to come back as well. But, these guys have been extended qualifying offers, but they are going to test free agency. That's how I see the National League shaping up for next year. Do I see players signing with different teams? Yes, I do see that. I could very well see David Price signing with the Dodgers or the Cubs. If David Price signs with the Dodgers, then my odds are about 10-10 that 100% to 100% that you're going to get Zach Greinke signing with the Chicago Cubs. Free agency has basically started. The winter meetings have started this week. They go through Thursday. The foundations during the winter meetings are laid about this time. More than likely, no deal is going to be done around this time. You're going to notice deals being done during the winter meetings in December, and free agency is really going to pick up in there. And we'll have a better look as to how National League teams will fall. But as of right now, that's how I see, the National League shaping up for next year. Who do I see having the most wins in the National League next year? Do I see the Cardinals staying there? No, I don't. I see the Dodgers taking over with probably around 99 to 105 wins next year. So, with that being said, I hope that answered your question, Troy. If not, again, like I mentioned, more than likely I'm going to do a blog post on this as well in the near future. I don't know how soon. I don't know how soon the near future is. It's just as I get a notion to do this. But there will definitely be a blog post on this where I go a little bit more in detail as to how things are going to shape up. It'll probably be right around the time the winter meetings pick up. Right when we know where players have landed, where players are going to land, when I can go through and say, hey, the Dodgers picked this person up right now. They picked this person up. The Cubs picked this person up. And they, the Reds picked this person up. This is how I see it shaping up. But right now, without doing really anything and only speculating where guys are going, I speculate that, David Price goes to the Cubs and Greinke stays with the Dodgers. But, I also speculate that, the Nationals take and win the NL East over the New York Mets, just on the sole fact that the New York Mets are going to be losing a lot of, people to qualifying offers or to free agency. So, with that being said, like I said, I'll have a blog post on this coming up in the near future. I hope that helps you out, Troy. If not, shoot me another message. If you have the question, do the same thing. It's pretty well. I'll give you the platforms at the end of the show. But I appreciate Troy for coming by and stopping by and sending us that question. And I'll get more in detail, as I said, in a further blog post on our website, which is only a rough draft. People, I've heard people say, "Wow, that's not professional." Well, it's only a rough draft, to be quite honest with you. It's professional to me because it's professional, but it's only a rough draft. There's other places where I can go. There's other things where I can take this, but I'll definitely have more on this coming up on a blog post in the near future. So hopefully that helped you out, Troy. Now back to our page and to see what happened in the sports news. Remember, if you have a question here on the All About Sports Zone page, feel free to shoot us a question via the social stream. Hit us with any questions that you have. Sometimes I'll answer them if I'm, right there and in the middle of a thought and it pertains to what's going on. And other times I'll wait till the end of the show. So, just hit me with those questions. You have the social stream. If you followed us through Ustream, just use Twitter or Facebook to connect there and send messages that way. It's easier said than done, correct? Alrighty. Out of the sports news of the week, we're going to get into this as I scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and hope eventually I get there. There we go. Joy of having an iPad to use everything on. I'm looking at 14 different screens right now. I wish I had 14 different computers, but this is not Biz Radio. Thank goodness. Oh, okay. Many NASCAR fans out there. I don't know how many NASCAR fans are out there, but I try keeping true to sports. I see NASCAR as a sport. Some people may or may not see it as a sport, but if you don't, that's your prerogative. I'm not going to dog you for that. But as I see fit, it being a sport, I feel like some of the stuff needs to be shared on that as well. This definitely viewer discretion is advised. I won't use the word, but I will use expletive. Yeah, expletive instead. But you get the idea. Joey Logano and I believe Matt Kenseth got into it during one of the races about a week and a half ago. And one of the articles that I read basically had the caption, "Best scanner sound." That's a chicken expletive move right there. Kenseth and Logano have been at it all season long. Racing is a very competitive sport. You put 43 cars on a track going 150 miles an hour to 200 miles an hour, and you want to be that top guy. Sometimes you do things that's going to get you to that top tier platform, whether that be wrecking somebody or claiming you're going to wreck somebody. But these guys always, always, always have an agenda. They don't forget. They always hold grudges. So, the race in Texas over the past weekend. I believe Jimmy Johnson won that race, if I'm not mistaken. Wins the race. So there's, I believe, Gordon and Johnson and a few other people have moved up into the chase race as well. So it's a little bit of NASCAR news for you there. Not really going to share anything about Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant again. I still think is the most arrogant player in the NBA, hands down. Switching gears to the NFL, the Rams signed veteran wide receiver Wes Welker. This actually is a pretty good sign. I feel very, very confident that the Rams will get more than 110% out of Wes Welker. Try saying that fast 3 times. They'll get plenty out of him. He gives 110% each and every game. And what happens is you've got a veteran wide receiver who gets the Rams quite possibly 2 or 3 more wins this season than what they had over a season ago. Definitely a good sign. Wes Welker, has been injured over the past season or so, so he's not as good as he was in the past when he was with Denver or New England. But he's still a good wide receiver, and definitely at 110%, he's going to give the St. Louis Rams a run for their money and give them 2 or 3 more wins this season than what they had last. Alrighty. This I have to get into. I don't want to get into, but is sports related. I believe it stems from some sports players and other things. And I really didn't want to have to cover this, but I'm going to. The University of Missouri president resigned amidst allegations of racial unrest. University of Missouri students and athletes alike had been calling for this university president to step down. They've asked for more coaches, for more professors in the realm of in the color of African American. I don't know how to say it and hopefully I'm not offending anybody, but they want more African American coaches, more African American professors. They called for him to resign. They've asked for 8 demands in which I could see this bleeding down into sports. And honestly, if I'm not mistaken, it all stemmed from sports, if I'm not mistaken. The president resigns. What's next? The athletic director is going to resign. Are we going to get coaches in Missouri resigning? And these people asking for a African American head coach in college football ranks. These coaches interview. Every one of them interview with no bias. These athletic directors have no bias in mind. They're not sitting there with a sheet of paper looking at it saying, okay, don't hire this, don't hire that, don't hire purple people, don't hire green people, don't hire brown people, don't hire black people, don't hire a gimpy leg person. Athletic directors are always going to do what's in the best interest of a university or their athletic department. So, they're going to go out and hire the best coach, whether that person be white, whether that person be African American, whether that person be Hispanic, whether that person be Oriental, Asian, no matter what they are, they're going to go out and they're going to hire the best possible person. This has been bleeding down from the NFL. The NFL has called Players Association, the NFL's Players Association has called for more African American coaches, with the only, 2 or 3 coaches that are around in the NFL. The Players Association wants to see more equal rights for these people. Where are you seeing that there are no equal rights? These guys interview the same way that the other coaches interview, and maybe, do I refute or argue that there is no racial discrimination or bias? No, we all have our prejudice. It don't matter what color or ethnicity you are. We all have our prejudice. But we can't let our prejudice as sports fans, as university students, as athletes, cloud our mind. Because when it clouds our minds, stuff like this happens, where you get a president resigning. More than likely, they are asking for the athletic director to resign as well. Then what happens from there? Does the coach of the team resign? Do they ask for a less biased interview process? Do I deny the fact that there are biases in interviewing? No. Again, we all have our prejudices, but we cannot, as sports fans, as students, as university athletes, let those prejudices cloud our mind. That's my 2 cents on the subject, and that's that. Because if I get any more deeper into that, it becomes a rant, and I really don't want to rant and rave over something like that. But, it's something in the news that had to be talked about. I shared on the blog earlier this week the top 3 NFL quarterbacks. This was actually written Sunday. The blog was written Sunday, so these are definitely not up to date. I'm definitely going to go in. I'm going to update them as the numbers are not up to date. But these are still, believe it or not, my top 3 quarterbacks. Even with Aaron Rodgers having the game that he had Sunday, I still see him as only number 2 to Andy Dalton or to Tom Brady. So, we know that there are only a handful of NFL teams that are still undefeated. You have the New England Patriots, you have the Cincinnati Bengals, and you have the Carolina Panthers, all undefeated. My top 3 quarterbacks, if you follow the blog, are on the blog. Tom Brady, followed by Aaron Rodgers, followed by Andy Dalton. There is not one person in the sports world who can argue that Tom Brady is not the best quarterback right now. You can sit here and call him a cheat all you want. But the truth of the matter is, I had a discussion with someone, and if you think about it, footballs inflate and deflate themselves anyway. Now, do they drop 7 or 8 pounds? No. But balls inflate and deflate very easily. It's like your tires in your vehicle. This is how I like to explain it. It's like the tires in your vehicle. The colder it gets, heat expands. Cold air retracts. So the colder it gets, the less air you're going to have in the ball. The hotter it gets, that air is going to expand. That's why during the summer months, you never have a place air up your tires as high as they can go. They say 80 pounds. So they put 80 pounds in there and it gets up to 100 degrees and your tires blow out because the heat expanded the air in that tire. So as cold air happens, you lose air. So, you know, you can't argue. I don't, if you want to try to argue with me, go right ahead. It'll be kind of fun because I've got more stats and more numbers on Tom Brady than what Carter had liver pills. So, the truth of the matter is, you cannot argue right now that Tom Brady is the best quarterback in the NFL. There is no one, and I mean no one, absolutely no one, that outranks Tom Brady right now. You're going to sit here and go, why? Why? Why is he the best quarterback in the NFL? I'll tell you why. He's on a mission. He is on a mission to prove everyone wrong that no matter what, he can do it. He can do it the right way. You claim I deflated balls or had balls deflated last year. Bring it. Nothing's going on right now. Bring it. Through 7 games, he had 20 touchdowns and 1 interception. So how can you argue that he's not the best quarterback in the NFL? If somebody's going to piss in his cereal, he's just going to crap in their Wheaties. All right? That's how I see it. Plain and simple as that. You cannot argue that. Now, my number 2 is Aaron Rodgers. Even after this past Sunday where he kind of had some faux pas and did not look like Aaron Rodgers is still the second best quarterback only to Tom Brady. You really can't argue that either. My third quarterback is a former TCU standout, Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton through, his 7 games or so had 18 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. His QB rating was pretty darn good. 2,226 yards a game. Or yards in the season, 278 yards a game. It's pretty good. Pretty doggone good. So, with that being said, that's my top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL. Again, I need to go back and fix that blog, as that blog was actually written Sunday before any of those quarterbacks played any game. So I'll go back through there and fix their highlights. They're not going to change. They're going to be the same 3, but the numbers are going to be different. So I'll go back through and fix that on the blog. So, with that being said, my lovers, here's the top 25 in the NCAA rankings. College football, that is. And mine do not look like this because I could argue that Oklahoma State could be 4, or Baylor could be 4, Oklahoma State 6, and Oklahoma 10th. And I'm going to argue that against the rankings that just recently came out. What I'm about ready to state are the rankings that came out recently. After that, I'm going to go through, and just like each and every week, I'm going to give you my top 25. It will definitely not look like this because I do see LSU moving farther down than what they were I see Oklahoma moving up. I see TCU being a little bit lower than what they were. So the top 25 right now, according to these guys, are Clemson 1, Ohio State 2, Alabama 3, Baylor 4, Oklahoma State 5, Notre Dame 6, Stanford 7, Iowa 8th, 9th LSU, 10th Utah, Florida 11, Oklahoma 12, TCU 13, 14 Michigan State, 15 Michigan, 16 Houston, North Carolina 17, UCLA 18, Florida State 19, 20th goes to Mississippi State, Temple 21, 22 Navy, 23 Wisconsin, Northwestern 24, and Memphis rounds out the top 25. Now, my top 25 ranking in the NCAA looks like this. Ohio State 1, Clemson 2, Alabama 3, Baylor stays 4, Notre Dame goes to 5, Oklahoma State 6, Stanford 7, Iowa 8th, Utah 9th, Florida 10th, Oklahoma 11th, 12th LSU, Michigan 13, Michigan State 14, TCU 15, Houston 16, UCLA 17, 18 goes to North Carolina, Mississippi State takes 19, Florida State takes 20, Temple, Navy, Wisconsin, Memphis, followed by Northwestern. Those are my top 25 as I see fit. With that all being said, I want to send my condolences to the family of Major League pitcher Tommy Hanson. Tommy Hanson passed away at 29. He was rushed to the hospital Sunday evening with difficulty breathing and slipped into a coma from there. Never came out. His lungs failed, or his organs failed. We don't know what as of yet. But he passed away, I believe it was late last night, if I'm not mistaken. But Tommy Hanson had a pretty masterful career in the 4 seasons or so in Major League Baseball. As a Major League starter for not only the Atlanta Braves, but went to other teams as well. So our condolences go to him and his family as they have to deal with the loss of a true leader, a true athlete, and a pitcher that was trying to make a comeback last year. Signed on with the Rangers. He had great years in Atlanta. Had great years in Anaheim. His passing is definitely something that is a foreshadowing. It is something that is sad. So our condolences, our thoughts and prayers go out to Tommy Hanson. On a side note, I am still supporting Team Avery Z15 and will continue to send thoughts and prayers her way with her fight with leukemia. I have not been wearing orange, although I believe this shirt has some orange in it, right? I think in there. It's the OKC Thunder logo. So I'm still supporting your efforts in fighting leukemia there, Avery. 10 years old. She's a fighter. I know she's got this. Our thoughts and prayers are with you. Thoughts and prayers are with Tommy Hansen as Tommy Hansen's family as they mourn the loss of a true leader. With that being said, that's this Tuesday's show. I appreciate all the questions coming in via Facebook, via Twitter. Remember, you can also email me through our Gmail account. Really simple ways to get a hold of us. There are 4 ways to get a hold of us and get your questions answered. You can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/allaboutsportszone. You can like us on Twitter at Jimmy Kersey1. You can email us at allaboutsportszone@gmail.com. That's one word, allaboutsportszone@gmail.com. Or you can become an unofficial fan of the All About Sports Zone page. Just go to www.screamerproduction.wix.com/allaboutsportszone. Become an official fan. Send your questions, your comments through our contact us page. Or follow us on Google+. Until next Tuesday night, I am your host, Jimmy the K. See you next Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Until then, I'm Jimmy the K. Peace out.